Wife turned into a monster after birth. I suffer abuse, she won't get help. My 35M wife, 34F, has completely changed since the birth of our daughter 3 months ago. This will be a long post, but I promise, it's a story like no other. First of all, to clarify, I'm from Europe, so a lot of the legal advices I'd get that are applicable to the US won't fly here. My wife and I have been married since 2023, we've been dating since 2019. Before marriage our relationship was great, we had very few fights, although sometimes when we have a fight she'd yell a lot and call me names in the heat of the moment. She'd always apologize after that and she'd correct her behavior. Ever since she got pregnant last year, she completely changed. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, it's her first pregnancy, her hormones are all over the place, I get that. We started having more and more fights over insignificant things, but I always thought that was because of the hormones, that's why she's irritable. Fast forward to December, our daughter was born and shit hit the fan, seriously. Her pregnancy was perfect up until the end, but she had some minor problems at the end which required a few days of hospital stay. A few days after discharge she had an emergency C-section and our perfectly healthy daughter was born 2 weeks earlier than expected. She was overwhelmed and didn't want anyone to meet her at the discharge of the baby, so I complied and told my parents and her relatives she doesn't want anybody at the hospital. We went home and started taking care of the baby. I started working from home and after work I'd do all the household chores like cooking and cleaning and also feed the baby during most of the nights so she'd get some sleep. A few weeks went by and I noticed she's still overwhelmed, irritable and all over the place with the baby. I told her I know it's a hard time, she's a first-time mother, her experience was somewhat traumatic and maybe she's developing PPD or PPANX. She's completely aware of PPD and PPANX. I suggested she talk to a doctor and seek some help, but she said she doesn't have PPD, PPA or PP whatever and she just needs rest. We started arguing more and more. She'd yell, be verbally abusive and yell in the same room as the baby. She'd totally disregard her behavior as strange and accused me of causing it. Why are you making me yell? If you do as I say I won't yell. Because of you the baby will be upset by the yelling. I asked her a couple of times when can my parents meet the baby and she flatly refused. I'm the mother, I call the shots on who's meeting my baby. It's still early, she's too young, it's still flu season, your parents might get her sick. I suggested wearing masks and whatnot, still no. I'm the mother, I gave birth to her, I call the shots. Maybe a meet outside, still no. Her brother lives in the same city, he also hasn't met the baby so it's fair for no one to meet it until she says so. Time passed by. 3 weeks ago I told her again that it's been over 2 months and absolutely no one has met our baby. We live like prisoners in our own home and we just go out to take the baby for a stroll outside for an hour or so. I suggested we invite my parents and her brother and SIL for a short visit to meet our baby, and this is when shit hit the fan. She went into blind rage, started yelling, chasing me around the house, calling me a mama's boy, saying I'm endangering her baby in order to please my mother and whatnot. She was yelling at the top of her lungs, calling me and my parents all sorts of disgusting names. She ended up calling them and started yelling at them that they have no right to ask her to do anything, this is her baby, they will comply with whatever she says. Prior to that she had absolutely no conflict with my parents, we visited at holidays, spent time together on weekend trips several times in those years they've known her. They never had a fight or said anything mean to each other whatsoever. That fight continued for 4 days straight, she'd get calm, go to sleep and the next day she'd be at it again, calling me names, saying I don't deserve her, I was lucky I'm with her, I'm a loser who got lucky. She made a huge sacrifice for me and my family, we never appreciated her sacrifice and so on. On the 4th day she called my parents again for some reason, started yelling at them again even though they said they don't want to meet the baby if it's such a problem, but my wife was completely sure they were still manipulating me and I'm causing all of this. She got really mad when my father in a calm voice said she was not well behaved and something was wrong with her upbringing. She got up and smashed my phone and tried to hit me. I got my stuff and left the house. I spent the next 4 hours outside, she called me, her brother called me to guilt trip me into going back. I told her brother I left because she was physically abusive, but he didn't even listen to me nor did he let me finish. A man has to stand by his wife no matter what. You left her and the baby and that's what a puss and a coward would do. I told him I won't stay by the side of someone who routinely belittles and mocks me, calls me names, smashes my phone and tries to hit me. At this point he started yelling like a madman how lucky we were to have a baby and stop fighting and go to take care of your baby and let no one come in between. She called me crying and after I came back I said, we go to couples therapy or we divorce. She said, okay, I will do anything, and 2 days late she said she's not going to therapy since there's nothing wrong with her. Me and my family need therapy. Fast forward a week later. We had another fight with my wife. It started from her not being able to sleep well again and it spiraled into, I'm not sleeping well because of all of the arguments I had with you and your idiot parents. She started yelling again, chasing me from room to room as I tried to de-escalate. She started pushing me, shoving me, trying to hit me. I grabbed her hands but she drove her nails into my arms and hit me. Instinctively I just slapped her once on the cheek to regain control of the situation. And she totally flipped, started hitting me with fists, with a slipper all over the body, head, face. I just ran out of the house, turned off my phone and went to the police. I filed a report against her and spent a few hours at the police station. I turned my phone on a few hours later, she was out with the baby, we met and I told her I filled a report in the police against her. And she'd have to go there and give explanations. She got mad OFC and went to the police station to write the explanations with the words, "You will see, I'll put you in jail for this." She came home 1 to 2 hours later completely calm. She said she had a good chat with the police officer and she agrees to couples therapy again. Although I told her her problems need more than that, she needs to see a therapist solo or a psychiatrist since this rage is not normal. She refused to listen. As always, I'm the problem. If I do as she says, there'd be no conflict. I found a therapist I know I can trust and told her a few days later we have an appointment booked. Guess what followed? More yelling, more names, no hits this time, a total meltdown which lasted for an hour. Again she refused therapy although I told her it's a line in the sand for me and I'd file for divorce regardless of the kid. She said it's not a good time, she needs time to recover and take care of the baby. She told me, I said yes to couples therapy, didn't say when. Now it's not a good time. I told her I'm worried this kid will grow up in a family where there's verbal and physical abuse, where one partner doesn't respect the other and acts as a master and expects total obedience. It's not a healthy dynamic and I prefer to end this marriage now when the kid is still a few months old than end it in a few years. It's apparent she is unwilling to change. And the way she treats me is horrible. Soon she will treat the kid the same way and blame her violent outbursts on it. Final chapter. I told her I'm getting therapy for myself and this is where her new ultimatum came. You will not go to therapy. I forbid you to go to therapy and meet some charlatan therapist. Besides, you shouldn't go out much, the baby might get some virus and this endangers her health. She also told me I'm never to meet my parents in the near future. I have no right to go and visit them for holidays. I have a duty to my new family and her. Take care of the baby and me. No friends, no family, no therapy. This is the current situation. I'm almost sure this will end in divorce sooner or later. Any advices on how to proceed? I was thinking I have two options, file for divorce and tell her, or just start ignoring her commands and get therapy, meet my friends, meet my parents and just start refusing to obey. Then to see what happens. I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with a narcissist. Although she has some narc traits, I don't think she's a true narc. She's a poor strategist and possibly just lost her mind.